Mr. Gill from the EFDD.
Migration is arguably one of the most important issues faced in the world. In particular, our colleagues in southern European countries like Malta are creaking under the strain of mass immigration. The Mayor of Calais is at her wit's end, and in my country, voters have never been more angry. But perhaps the EU should admit its vindictive trade policies create the push factors that drive people to leave their countries, whilst ill-thought-out benefit policies encourage the pull factors. In 2008, the EU admitted that its trade deals allow the EU to chop down African lumber, mine African minerals, suck African oceans dry of fish, and generally ruthlessly exploit Africa's only resources. Mr. Juncker, in his mission letter to you, has called for a fresh start. Do you accept that the EU's policies in Africa have destroyed the conditions for economic life that drive many people to want to leave their country, and that Africa deserves a fresh start, a new approach, fair trade and relevant aid?
Thank you very much indeed. I have to say that I'm far from subscribing to your description of the European role in the and impact in Africa. Actually, what we really do there is a partnership that we develop, partnership that takes care of the resources, of their own resources, and that would like these resources to be much better exploited by them, not by European companies. Of course, there might be some historic and some recent concrete examples that might come closer to your views and to your description of the reasons behind the migrant flows from Africa to Europe. But even this, I would say, is not completely a based approach, well-based approach, because only 20% of African migration goes to Europe. 80% of African migration flows stays either within the country itself or within other African countries. I wouldn't like to undermine the negative impacts of illegal migration, but I see that my role would be not to contribute to building the walls on the borders of European Union, but my role would be to dismantle the walls within the African countries that prevent them to build sustainable economies, to build the wealth in their economies, and to alleviate the economic and social conditions that actually make migration as a forced migration or economically forced migration and not a choice of the migrants. So in that context, I would really like to work together with the commissioner, my fellow commissioner for migration, in order to improve the European legal migration context and to improve the economic and social conditions in Africa.
Thank you, Mr.